The Crimean Peninsula, seized by Russia in 2014, plays a crucial role in Moscow's integrated air defense network, which also shields Novorossiysk. This is why Ukrainian strikes are regularly targeting specific sites across the occupied Autonomous Republic of Crimea. Speaking on air, Director of Security Programs at the Strategy XXI Globalistics Center, Pavlo Lakiychuk, explained the recent losses suffered by Russia due to attacks on its military facilities in Crimea, including the destruction of a landing craft and the newest Yenisei radar system. Lakiychuk divided the picture into two main aspects. The first is the enemy's force grouping in Crimea, the permanent deployment points of units concentrated there after 2014 to prepare an attack on Ukraine. These are the primary targets of Ukrainian strikes, he noted. The second aspect, he said, is understanding Crimea's role as a key element of Russia's layered air defense system. Western Crimea is the first air defense echelon for the entire south of Russia. To strike Novorossiysk, Kuban, Krasnodar, or eastern Crimea, you first have to break through this shield, Lakiychuk emphasized. Accordingly, Ukrainian forces focus their efforts on locations such as Yevpatoria, Tarkhanket, and the Filant plant in Simferopol, once Ukraine's largest power tool manufacturer, later nationalized by the occupiers. Other targets include the Sake and Gaverdeyskoye airfields. Recently, Ukrainian intelligence operations in occupied Crimea eliminated several Russian radar stations and destroyed a landing craft. Among the targets were radar systems housed in protective domes, an air defense base on Mount Ipetri, and most notably, the advanced Yenisei radar. The Yenisei is the standard radar for Russia's S-500 Prometheus air defense system. Tested in 2020-2021 and adopted in 2021-2022, it uses a multi-element, interference-resistant active-phased array, capable of tracking hypersonic objects at altitudes up to 120 kilometers and speeds of up to 4,800 meters per second. In effect, the system is designed to intercept low-orbit space targets. The 1st Azov Corps of Ukraine's National Guard has taken up defensive positions in the Pokrovsk sector to block advancing Russian forces, the unit announced. Pokrovsk, a frontline town in Donetsk Oblast, has for months remained one of the most fiercely contested areas in Russia's eastern offensive. According to Azov, its troops arrived in the sector several days ago. The situation along the Pokrovsk axis was described as complex and dynamic, with Russian units attempting to push forward while reportedly suffering losses in both manpower and equipment. Measures have already been implemented to halt Russian advances, with results to be reported in due course, the statement said. The development comes as Russian troops push toward the Dnipropetrovsk-Kramatorsk highway in Donetsk Oblast, reportedly breaching Ukrainian defenses and securing positions in nearby settlements to enable further offensive operations. Dnipropetrovsk lies 94 kilometers northwest of Russian-occupied Donetsk and around 22 kilometers north of embattled Pokrovsk. Ukrainian brigades, many of them critically short of infantry, are fighting to hold the line against these advances, even as Russian forces appear to have adapted their tactics to exploit weak points in the defense. Civilian evacuations from contested and occupied areas remain perilous, with Russian forces repeatedly accused of targeting non-combatants. The 1st Azov Corps was formed earlier this year as part of a broader shift toward a corps-based structure. The unit derives its name from the Azov Brigade, which originated during the onset of Russian aggression in 2014 and whose fighters took part in some of the war's most intense battles, including the siege of Mariupol in 2022. Alexander Shirshin, commander of a battalion of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade, Magura, urged that the right decisions be made to stabilize the Pokrovsk front. While we continue to advance, storming the crucial ruins of houses and concentrating capable forces in the Sumy direction, the Pokrovsk front is in a difficult state. This situation closely resembles the events leading to the loss of Ocheredin, which caused chaos, created a critical situation in the area, and ultimately paved the way for the enemy's advance. It is important to make the right choices now, even if they have undesirable consequences, as they will preserve our strength and allow us to stabilize the front, he said. Earlier reports indicated that Russian forces were advancing near Kucherevy Yar, Zoloty Kolodiez, and Maysky. Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service has claimed that Ukrainian forces are preparing sabotage operations targeting the Russian tanker fleet in open waters. While the primary concern reportedly lies in the Baltic Sea, Russian officials say fears are also rising in the Black Sea. According to the agency, on August 7, 3 unmanned boats were detected along the route of the Russian-flagged oil tanker Anna as it sailed toward the Bosphorus Strait from Krasnodar Krai. By the end of the day, the vessels had moved northeast from the Kuban coastline and were positioned about 250 kilometers southwest of Sevastopol, reportedly in a waiting area, with their satellite antennas switched off. Russian media outlets alleged that the pattern of movement suggested Ukrainian naval drones were monitoring shipping routes of Russian merchant and cargo vessels passing through the Bosphorus. The group allegedly included naval drones equipped with anti-tank guided missiles, FPV systems, and one kamikaze-type drone fitted with an enhanced warhead. It is possible that the Ukrainian armed forces, with the involvement of British intelligence, are preparing to use these naval drones against Russian oil tankers as part of a plan to later accuse Russia of causing an environmental disaster in the Black Sea, Russian media claimed. They also asserted, citing unnamed sources close to the office of the head of the Kyiv regime, that Ukrainian intelligence is currently focused on operations aimed at disrupting an anticipated meeting between the presidents of Russia and the United States in Alaska. The claims come against the backdrop of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which has triggered some of the most significant shifts in military doctrine since the advent of air power and nuclear weapons in the 20th century. For more than 3 years, both countries have been locked in a daily race to innovate, with unmanned systems increasingly dominating the battlefield. This drone war is now being fought not only on Ukrainian soil, but also deep inside Russia and at sea. Despite Russia's larger resource base, Ukraine's tech industry and agile startup culture have allowed Kyiv to mount a formidable challenge. Recently, Ukrainian Defense Intelligence Chief Kyrylo Budanov unveiled the Magura 5th-7 unmanned marine vehicle, built domestically and armed with 2 anti-aircraft missiles. Designed for extended operations at sea, the Magura V7 is reportedly capable of hunting Russian aircraft for days at a time. According to Ukrainian officials, the platform has already proven its combat value, allegedly downing 2 Russian Su-30 fighter jets over the Black Sea in early May. Budanov hailed the strike as an historic moment, saying it was likely the first time in history that military jets had been destroyed by unmanned naval platforms.